begins here. Lichess tournament starting in less than a minute. Trying to get everything set up, kind of running a little bit late. I'm going to open up my chat here on my phone. Still trying to get all this organized. Okay, 37 seconds until the tournament starts. My picture's where it should be for the when the game starts. The way the game will be displayed. It's an hour and a half long tournament. Playing for Little Rock Chess. The team Little Rock Chess.
9,
Here we go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Quinty Fish. I played this guy before. We're 1-1. I thought I'd played him before. Yeah, I think he played the same setup last time. I really do just want to fianchetto. Something about this that I looked at. I'm trying to remember what it was. I guess he's going to take my bishop. Yep. He sure is. There was something about his setup. I can't quite remember. I didn't play it correctly, that's for sure. I guess he's going to b2 and he's going to check me. Is that really that big a deal? I'm kind of tempted to play queen. This would be funny. I'm kind of tempted to play here. And when he checks me, go here. My king ends up on the third rank. Strange idea. I think I want to try that out. And he does it. Can he do anything to me after we trade queens? I don't think so. Now, I could play c5. He can't capture because of this business. Play to isolate his pawn. This is a very strange position. I could even play here. I'm kind of a little worried about opening myself up too much because he could play here. I mean, I can play here and I can isolate this pawn. Well, he'll probably just recapture with the knight. I was actually thinking like, pawn here combined with this move, threatening that. Like right here on the move, if I play this move, he's either going to have to move the knight or he's going to have to play this. And I can follow it up with c5. this first. Okay, now if I play c5, he's sure going to play on this pawn right here. That means I got to be a little bit careful about all that. If I play here, eventually he's going to bring this rook to bear on that pawn. And that's making me think I need to play c6 instead. I think I'm going to play here. Got allergies acting up today. Haven't felt all that great. He's going to do that. Well, I could retreat it, but I don't have a lot of places to put it. I guess I'm going to have to trade that bishop. Now, I either play c6 and play for e4, e5 rather, which is probably what I'm going to do. If I play this immediately, I just can't force that pawn to be isolated. I'd love to play this guy out here, but I don't have a threat there. If I play here, he plays over here. If I capture, he just captures with the knight, and he's solid. We have a completely symmetrical pawn structure. I guess I'm going to play this. Play for e5. I can get this push in. Take, knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, rook takes. And on that, I want to play this move, but if I do, he can, I mean, you know, that'll be the end of me playing for e5. Maybe I need to play this guy here. Attack his bishop. I got a feeling he doesn't want to give it up. Now, here. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. He's probably going to castle. Just let me do this. We're going to end up with a symmetrical. Well, it's not. I do have the queenside pawn majority if we do that trade. If I take and he takes with the knight, I do have my queenside pawn majority, which will be good in the end game. Do I want to trade queens? Well, it is good in the end game. Quinty fish. The moment of truth has arrived. He's got a really great bishop for the end game, but oh, he castles queenside. There you go. That's interesting. Didn't really see that one coming. I don't know why I didn't see it coming. Check, puts him in the corner. I could play here to play here. The good thing about where my knight is located means he can't put a rook on the 7th. Now I'm kind of thinking about playing rook here and pushing the f pawn. Targeting this guy. I'm going to play here. Okay, I guess he's getting ready to double on the file. Or he may just be stopping that move. Be nice if I was doubled on an open file. So I can't play this move yet. I could play this plan. Play here and then play here. He plays rook here and takes my knight. Captures, takes my knight. Play here. King up. I could just start bringing my king up. Man, I just really kind of want to do this. Because I can't do this now. This pawn structure is solid against this bishop. I guess next I'm going to bring my king up. Maybe check him. Well, he can play here and trade rooks. I think that's about all he can do, isn't it? Eventually go after this one. This guy can drop back. He goes there. I need some targets. I mean, I'm playing a little bit aggressively in this end game because I have weaknesses. There's one and there's one. If he gets down here with these rooks, there could be trouble, you know. Okay, I can play here, which means I can get to that square. There isn't a whole lot he can do to stop that. If I'm thinking right. Gosh, this guy sure is playing fast. He owns a file and I own a file. I do have an entry square though. That'll give me that pawn. His bishop's so strong over here, I'm not going to be able to get to any of the others, though. I don't want a rook sitting here guarding this pawn. That would be really bad. I don't want my king out here guarding this one either. Depending on what happens, I may have to play this pawn up. His pawn here is keeping my knight out, and my knight can't go here because he can trade out and either win a pawn or isolate a pawn. Okay, that is a problem for me. It sure is. Let's see. I can play here. End up, well, he's going to win this pawn. Can't do that. I guess we're going here. And now, where do I go? This thing's in trouble. Am I going to guard that with a rook? I play here, holding this knight. I'm still on this pawn. That sure doesn't look good. I'll give him the 8th if I do that. If I play here, he's got to trade off his beautiful bishop. And he wins a pawn. We go into a rook endgame. Let's see. He's going to have a passed pawn on the queen side after all that. I guess we're going to have to. Probably grab this one with check first. I gotta get something in case my nose starts running. Well, I'm gonna lose a ton of pawns. Now I have to go here. I have to keep my king active, and I have to give this pawn up. Down a pawn already. Quinty fish. Odd opening. Well, this is the pawn to take. Certainly not this one. Yeah. I think instead of guarding that pawn, I need to take this one. Well, I've only got one legal move. I've only got one legal move. He's going to capture that rook. Looks like I'm going to lose this one. He's got too many passed pawns. I just play here? The problem is my king's too far away and he has an extra pawn. I could draw it if I could get this king to here and this pawn wasn't here anymore. But that's a lot of stuff. Can he play e4? Check. Yeah. Okay, now I need to go here. I'm going to try to draw this. I'm sure this is a lost position, but I'm going to try anyway. Wow. I didn't expect that move. So you're going to bring his king up. Now, if I push again, if I check, his king goes to here. Check again, his king goes to here, which really helps him a lot. I mean, I know this is lost, but I'm just trying to figure out a way to draw it. Hoping he'll make a mistake. If I play here and he pushes to protect his rook, and then I check, his king goes here holding that pawn. Maybe I can check his king relentlessly or something. These kind of end games are really hard. Trying to win them or trying to draw them. This one is a little easier than some, though. And that he's, I'm sure, completely won here. an interesting question. What does he do here? I don't think I've reached a drawn position. I think this is still a win for him. Check. King moves. Take the rook. Okay, if I play check, the king moves. I take his rook. He takes. I take. And I've got a draw. Am I right or wrong? With that little amount of time, I don't want to try and explain anything else because I don't want to mess it up. Ah! Okay, he can't go that direction too. In which case I don't have a draw. Am I supposed to go back behind the pawn? Probably. I love having 15 seconds on my clock trying to do this. He goes to the D file and we'll come back and check him here. That's two. Let's see. If I check here, does that give me anything? King up. I think I'm supposed to go backwards. I think I was supposed to stay down there. Lateral checks. Oh, he can move his rook up. Yeah, he can do that. Well, I'm going to have to run computer analysis on this one. I'm totally not sure about this end game. It's probably been won and lost 5 times or something. Well, I'm going to that square. I don't know that he can stop me. I'll be on the queening square. If your king's on the queening square, that's a good thing. I really wish I had more time. I believe I'm in Philidor's position now, which is a book draw. I think he let it slip away somewhere. Okay, now check here. We trade rooks, he'll be there, and then my king comes up and his king comes up. And then I have a drawn king and pawn endgame. Totally nuts. I can't believe you let me out of this. Hey, I got a guy who's chatting with me. He says bridge. Okay, I think he could have done that at some point. See, if I go straight back and he plays the d6, then I play the d8. What a fish. I don't know who this guy is. Puceter. This puts the opposition. Maybe this is the way to go. I hope I don't mess this up talking to my friend here on the chat. Let's see if I move. Okay, don't mess it up. Let's see. If I move here, he moves here, and I move straight back. And then either side he goes to. I love the fact that this guy's making me play it out. I guess we're going to do this for 30 moves. Hey, man, I really appreciate the fact that you know what the bridge is. I guess he didn't know his end games. I'm going to take 30 seconds to do a couple of things. Puseater. Puse. I wonder if you're on one of the teams. Back to the tournament. Got a draw. Boy, that was about as bad as the impossible draw, the insane draw, rather, on my one of my earlier tournaments. It was not as crazy as that one was, but this one I had to fight for and pull a rabbit out of the hat. I guess I'll get paired in a minute. Why am I number 29? I draw one game and I drop from number 4 to number 29. I've never played this guy before. I don't know who he is. There's no sound. This guy, what? You can't hear me? What the heck? What's wrong here? Oh, man. Hey, what about now? Can you hear me now? Unfortunately, OBS, it keeps changing that setting. I have it set up for this Yeti caster, which is all indications are that it's working. I don't know why this guy's playing this stuff. What's his rating? Oh, he's an 1100. Oh, okay. Thanks, Justin. The thing I don't know what the deal is. I reboot the computer and suddenly it doesn't. It loses that setting for the Yeti caster. I guess because I unplugged the Yeti caster. This, oh yeah, this is. I forgot he's rated 1183. Puceter. I don't know how to pronounce that. He ought to be able to hear me now. Huh. Somebody else could hear. I wonder what the deal is. Because the Yeti caster is showing as I talk that the thing's going up. I mean, on the OBS, it's showing that the volume's being increased. I love that little. I guess this person doesn't mind giving me a rook. I don't know. Well, they're just learning. And they're higher ranked than me in the tournament. Number 26 versus number 29. Okay, when you're ahead of rook, you generally don't mind trading pieces. That's a shame because I was narrating that entire rook and pawn in game. The thing does save to my local hard drive, so I can upload that to my YouTube channel, even if the broadcast didn't get the audio. Where does this piece go? I want a castle. I guess we'll just do it this way. Quite a few people chatting tonight. That's interesting. I guess you guys picked me up on Twitch under chess. Although the PUCETER guy knows how to build a bridge. So he definitely knows chess. Just in the screen so small I can barely make that out. But that is funny. Yeah. And we'll take a queen with check. I got to get to our other game, Justin. I already have in mind, I think, what I'm going to do, but I always kind of like to take my time and think about stuff. That last game, the draw was so hard, it felt like a loss. I still think I had the better end game. I think I just misplayed it somewhere. That bishop was keeping my knight trapped. Not that I'm going to really need it, but I can get a knight down there. Well, this person's learning. One of the things you learn is people will take your pieces. I had a friend at the Little Rock Chess Club when I first went there, and he beat me so many games, it was insane. He and he just every time he said, "What a fish," because he would just grab minor piece after minor piece. I really wish I could read more of the chat because it's not showing up on the window I'm on, or maybe it's at the bottom. I want to go on here. Cheese in the Bungalow is always commenting. I want to go on here and say, "Give me the cheese." Maybe I will. I don't even remember my first round opponent's name. I was wondering if he said good game or anything. Because if they do that, I always like to do likewise. $738. I'll probably get in at least 3 more games, maybe 4. She's in the Bungalow as a top player for the Santa Barbara County Chess Club. Wow. How many of our guys are here? Watch, he's going to desert me. I don't think I've ever played this guy either. No, I have. I beat him. Yeah. I played him before. C3 Sicilian. Just about everybody on this site seems to play this opening. I think. I know I looked this up. I think E6 and D6 are both okay. If I play here and he. Oh, wait a minute. If I play here and he plays knight here, I'm going all the way back. What if he plays here at some point in all this? I got to be a little careful in this opening because I keep misplaying it. Actually, I may have lost more games than I've won with this C3 against the C3 Sicilian. Well, I'll end up with an isolated pawn here, just like him. Or I could capture his knight and give him hanging pawns. Try to play against those. The pawn structure is too symmetrical. Oh, this move. This move I played before. This sack never works. Juanito, are you still here? And you said you could always hear me? I know people come and go out of this, so you may be gone, but even before I got the Yeti caster working, you could hear? Cool. Thanks for answering, because I'm, trying to figure out all this. I've been streaming for a little while, but maybe 2 months, but still have some problems. So let's see. I got two pieces. Oh yeah. Well, he took care of that. So he's got my knight pin, which means he can push here, this pawn. Since this is pinned to my king, he can push here and win the knight. So I got to do something on this move, like unpin the knight. I can play here or I can play here. I really kind of feel like that's the right move. I think I'm gonna do it this way. I guess he has to decide what he's going to do with this knight, rather with this piece. Okay, he does that, and I'm going to take with my queen. And I want to play against this isolated pawn in the endgame. I mean, I don't know. It's not likely I'm going to beat this person in the middle game, but I might. But if we get into an end game, that pawn's sitting there, and I'm going to play against it. It's weak, and One rule I kind of heard was a rule of thumb was if you have an isolated queen pawn, it's great if you got all four minor pieces on the board. But if you have this isolated queen pawn and you get down to only two minor pieces, that then you're in trouble because you need to generate an attack, against the opponent's king. So like this person's trading queens, which is going to help me. I guess I'm going to go ahead and do it. I guess I am. I don't really think I'm going to get a king side attack going in this variation. And I can go into the end game. Bishop here, this person will play knight here. The Zuko person. And then attack, be attacking my bishop. So here, and it's attacking the bishop, and I got to move it again. I'm thinking that I'm going to play this piece to here. Because then I want to play e6 and bring the bishop out and castle. So I'm thinking this is the diagonal for me. The only other one that works is this one. And these squares are pretty guarded as it is. I think this is the move. This knight could hop into here, make it a little harder to. I mean, like if this person, Zuko, develops. My problem is I feel undeveloped here. I don't want to get behind in development, even though this is an in game. Why did you want the queen trade? Well, because again, this pawn is isolated. In the end game, that pawn's weak. So if we take all the pawns, all the pieces off the board right now, then I've got the better end game, probably a winning end game, just because this pawn is weak. It doesn't have any pawns protecting it. So it's a weak pawn, and in the end game, I can win it. So that's the reason I did that. Now that move kind of weakens the dark squares over here. And like I could play this rook here right now. I'm also thinking about this and playing here to pin this knight to the king. It's obvious this person's going to play that bishop to that square. Because when I play here, they will not be able to play out here because I'll take it. So I'm going to play here right now. I'm also further restraining this pawn. Right now, if Zuko pushes it, we can trade out here and I will win a pawn. My pawn will be isolated and weak, but I will be a pawn up. So I'm kind of restraining the movement of that pawn. Next, I'm thinking about bringing this rook to this file to put pressure on this knight, and then Zuko's going to castle next, I'm sure. But still, right now, if I play that move, Zuko could push here, and I have to decide on the move to trade this piece. I do have both bishops, and that's an advantage. So I don't really want to trade that. But I do want to bring this rook to an open file. I want to get this piece out. I want to castle. I want to bring the other rook here. I'm going to put pressure on these files. Of course, Zuko gets some moves too. So, there's a deal. What is this thing doing? I got to be careful because I've mouse slipped in 2 or 3 games by clicking around drawing arrows. And I lost them. 2 of them, I lost my queen on the move. Okay, so now if I play this piece here, it's not a pin, and Zuko will bring a rook over to defend that knight. And I'm not really sure that I've accomplished anything. So I'm thinking kind of about that. Do I really want to do that? I could play this piece here and here. kind of confront that guy. But if I play here, I do get to castle the tempo. And he can't attack my bishop immediately. I am threatening captures, 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 winning a piece. So Zuko is going to defend this knight, I believe. There's no good square really to move it to. You can't really move it to here or here or here. This will lead to a trade which would give Zuko 2 isolated pawns. Here's a possibility, but it makes sense to me to bring a rook to the file. Yeah. So I think I'm going to castle now. This pawn's still just sitting here waiting to be captured. I want to bring this guy here, like I talked about earlier. With a board this open, I should get some play for my bishops, although I'm not that great with bishops, honestly. I really am not that great with bishops. Okay. Well, so I was going to bring it to the file. I need to get better with bishops. I'm just curious. Is Zuko really thinking about pushing that? Okay. The moment of truth is arriving. I have to decide what to do here. If I go here, I could trade out and go there. Give up one of my bishops. Because his bishop's on the same color as his pawn. If I keep that pawn blockaded, it doesn't move forward, then it's still weak. I will try this. I'm going to play knight here next, attacking the bishop when he recaptures. And then I'm going to, so the knight will sit here and blockade this pawn, so it can't come forward. I'm not going to trade either rook. I want my rooks to just sit there. He could play there. I guess I could push this pawn on him, force him back. I do not want this rook to. I don't want him. I don't want to have to be forced to trade this rook, and then he has the file, the only open file. I want to at least be able to oppose him on the open file. It'll take him a long time to be able to oppose my knight with that knight. He's got to put that piece somewhere. Might as well just put it back. Oh, he does play out there. That's interesting. Well, I'm going to do this. And I don't want either of his pieces coming out here, so I'm going to do that. I don't want his knight, and I don't want his bishop coming to this square. I may have to start moving my king over. He does have this move. You know, it's a nice square for a knight. But also he moves his king over. And I think I'm going to move mine over. If I keep my head straight, actually, I believe I can win this end game without too much trouble. Play here, play knight there. Yeah, that's what he should do. Should bring his knight in. There's that square. That square is a little bit of a problem for me, isn't it? I may have to move back. Because he can drop that knight in right there and win an exchange. I don't want that happening. If he brings a knight in here, he attacks this rook. Okay, how do I deal with this? I don't want any of that happening, and this pawn's weak. Which means I'm going to have to play here. I did slightly misplay this. I think I'm going to have to weaken my e6 square and kick that knight out. That'll give him this target, but in the meantime, I'm working my targets too. Okay. Now, if I play here, Zuko can move the knight, and then we trade rooks. I think this is the square for my rook, right here. And now, oh, attacking my knight. I have to trade rooks. I think I'm going to win that pawn. But I'm going to have to go with the file to do it. Captures, captures, captures. I'm a pawn up. But his rook's going to come in here too. That's a little dangerous to win that pawn. I'd rather win it without giving up my back rank. So if I move here, he captures a pawn. That's not any good. All right, we're going to have to do this. That was an interesting in-between move. Now, if I drop back, doesn't he have to trade if I drop back? Yeah, he does. Okay. Now my king's going to come up the board. One thing that's really bad here is bishops of opposites. Bishops who travel in opposite colors, these kind of end games are notoriously drawn. And I just lost a pawn here. So that's not good. Let's see. Here. I'm not really sure where I made my mistake. It looks like when I brought my king over, I put him on a bad square. Okay, I'm going to have to do something like this. Can you win A or B fault? Well, that's actually what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to advance to here. You know what I really need to do? I need to move my king up the board. That's what I need to do. I got to tie something down to this guy for starters. Yeah, that was my plan. If I can fix these targets, this bishop will win them both. Maybe play this move. Okay, now I'll push that one first. I may end up fighting for a draw with bishops of opposites. I didn't want to move my king up here because I didn't really feel like didn't feel like I would get anything from that. Right now, okay, if I advance to here and then to here, both these targets are fixed. Okay. So this person's going to play there. And I need to somehow fix that guy on that square. How do I do this? Back to here. This pawn does not have to move is one problem I've got. At least I've got king position. Pretty sure he's going to do this. Man, I'm down to a minute. Play here, push. Problem is I can't ever win that pawn. This game's going to take a while. Yeah, I definitely mishandled the end game. I got the whole thing about the C file and moving my king over. I somehow messed that up. Looks like this guy's going to try to form an outside pass pawn. I got to figure out how to stop that thing. I guess I'm going to let him follow through this master plan over here. If I play here, and here, and here, I could win that pawn because he can't guard it without doubling back with his bishop. if I play here, bishop here, bishop here, he takes this pawn, I take that pawn, and then this one hangs. So I'm going to play there and see if I can get away with this. I'm getting too low on time. But he's low on time too. This game's going to end up a draw, I believe. Okay, I still see an interesting possibility, which is that. Now, if I move here and he pushes and I capture, he pushes again, then I come to here and that pawn cannot go any further. I'm trying to complicate this somewhat, hoping he'll make a mistake. I offered him a draw. I don't really ever do that, but I'm going to do it this game. He offered a draw. Okay. I'm going to take a break for 1 minute, 60 seconds. Okay, I'm probably going to have time for one more. Thanks for stream. I'm on a run now. Okay, Juanito, if you're still here, I do stream every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, playing in this tournament. Thanks for commenting on the games. Hope you had a good time. I'm not even sure who that was. Who did I just play? Who am I? A kid that sucks at chess. I'm reading the chat here. Mississippi just had their team state championship. Didn't know that. What happened to my game? Here it is. I'm playing the King of Memphis. The King of Memphis. He plays the Petrov. I'm totally out of theory here. These lines are crazy. They are totally nuts, and I don't know them. Want to do that? I'm number 28 in the tournament. Oh well, I guess I'll do it this way. Two draws and one win. Probably here. Captures. Knight moves. Can I actually do this move? I don't think that's a great move. Play here, queen check. You push. Knight takes, forks the rook and the queen. Discovered check. Knight takes queen, knight takes queen. Knight takes pawn. This is definitely not a good move. Might as well just do simple stuff. The King of Memphis. The King of Memphis was Elvis. Sorry to hear that, Floppy. I've had two draws and one win against an 1100. Some guy, I mean, one of them was a miracle draw. I couldn't believe the guy. He screwed up the rook and pawn in game. Sorry to hear you had an off night. I don't even know if Brent's playing or not. He said he wasn't sure he felt up to it. Yikes! The old bishop in the corner pocket. What's the deal? He doesn't want me to castle or something? You know, I am so tempted to trade my queen for 2 pieces right now, I can't tell you. Because people don't know how to play with a queen. I really shouldn't do that. This guy's a strong player, but man, that's tempting. The king or the rook? Okay, here we go. Have I played this guy before? No. Oh, yeah, I have. This is what you call a fishing expedition. I'm going to make a move and see what he does. I got a bad pawn structure. My bishop's on the same color as these pawns. I actually wanted him to play this move. I think he put the knight here because he's planning on doing this. If he puts it here, I'm thinking about doing this, pawn storming him. I don't have a whole lot to play for here. My king can't castle. My pawns are busted up. So I got 13 minutes to win this game. The King of Memphis. That'd be a nice square to have my queen on. That knight can go to here and hit this pawn. Not worried about that. I think I'm going to continue with my simple idea. If he drops this knight in, my queen's going to go here. He doesn't have any weaknesses. If he plays a knight here, I'm going to play here, maybe follow it up with this. Because he can't capture, I'll take the knight. Something like that. I could trade off one of my weak pawns for that guy maybe, but I got to be careful about opening this file. I want to play here. I'm just fishing around, hoping the guy makes a mistake. That's all I'm doing. He could plan on something like this, and then I capture and he wins this bishop. But if I play queen d3, I don't think he can do that, can he? Check, take, queen guards the bishop. Not so sure about this now because if he defends it and I trade, then he's got the open C file, half open C file. This will be a target. I play here, he plays here. Okay, then I take, and then he takes. Well, I guess we're going to do something else for a minute. Push, take, knight takes, bishop takes. And my queen's on, my knight's on pre. I gotta remember that problem. So, do I defend it? Do I move it? I think I'm gonna have to defend it. If I move here, knight here, captures, he doesn't have anything, right? I think I'm gonna have to play here. It's getting a little tight in here. If I play out here, well, I don't like that too much. Just a little too open. I don't know. I mean, can he really get to me out here? I am thinking more and more about this pawn push. I mean, I'm trying to complicate the position a little because I'm strategically lost. Unfortunately, to do that, I have to open my king position, which means he can attack my king. But his queen can't come in right now on any of these squares. This is a bad bishop, but it's holding a lot of squares. This is my reading of the position. I'm no expert. Why is he doing that? I don't understand that move. Pawn takes, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. I don't know what he's up to. Why on earth would he put that thing there? I'm going to do this as I'd planned. I want to undermine this guy. He's too strong sitting there. I want to brush him off. Just dust him off of that square. That's what I want to try to do. Let's try this again. Captures. Simple chess. I'm going to have an isolated queen pawn after this. I need an attack. I need these rooks here. The only problem is I don't know where I'm going to put my king if I do that. Be nice to get this thing on that. Oh. He wants his queen on this diagonal. Can't take because I'll take here. At least that's my read of the situation. Oh. And then he did that to me. I'm just making moves. Trying to hold on to the game. That's all I'm doing. Whoa. Did I miss something? Did I miss something here? I got to win this game in 5 minutes for it to count. If I win it. That's a target, and that's a target. Now, how does he guard both of these? What? Okay, that's a square. Guarding the square with the queen. My bad bishop's become a good bishop all of a sudden. I wondered if he might move there. Because now I'm wondering about pinning this guy to his queen. Which piece do I use to do that with? This one? He can't capture again because I'll capture. But I will capture next move. I think he's got to unpin the knight. I got to watch out for some tactics here. Taking the queen, he takes. I take. I'm guarding all my squares. Queen guards this one. The bishop guards this one. He could play here with a check. I go here. If I capture this pawn, maybe I first play here. He checks. The king moves. Sure would be nice to get a threat on him. He's got this square, unfortunately, which is going to give check. I think I survived that though. So I'm gonna give him his check, which is either there or there. Probably here. My king goes here. And does he have a check after that? This one's guarded. He doesn't have that one. He's got that one. Okay, if I play here, the knight could check me here. Play back up. The knight's got to move again. If I play here, he plays this check. If I play here, he's got a knight check. I think give him the knight check first. And come back up. I got all the time in the world. I need to be thinking about this more. The problem is I move a little quickly because I know he's in time trouble and I want him to be short of time thinking about this when I really should be focusing on my moves and analyzing them. Self-criticism, the road to improvement. Okay, if this knight comes in and checks me, I'm going here. And then the knight doesn't have any, he doesn't have any discovereds. He can't go back to here. He could go here and set up a discovered. Then that's when I'm going to need to move my rook in or something. Okay, so he checks me. If I move here, and he moves here, then I play queen takes knight. He plays queen takes bishop, which is fine. I'm up a rook. So if I play here, his knight doesn't have any good checks. And I'm going to push it back out. I believe I analyzed that correctly. We're going to find out, aren't we? That's the only check, and I take it off. Okay, so he moves there. That is still a check with the queen. I'll play rook here. Queen checks, king here. He has no queen checks. I'll be targeting that pawn too. Okay, what do I do here? I gotta guard all these squares. If I play here, he can play the rook over. That's the problem with that move. Then I go here. He has no check here with the rook. I'll be attacking his queen. His queen won't have that check either. I think maybe this is the move. Okay, he plays rook here. I play rook queen here. That's not a check because the bishop guards it. He will have queen here checked though. There's no knight checks. If I play here, does he have any checks? He's got a queen here check. I play here, he plays. Okay, if I play here, he doesn't have the rook check, but he does have the queen check. And my king's got to move to here. And then he has no checks, right? He doesn't have that one because the queen's guarding it. He doesn't have a knight check. He doesn't have a rook check. We'll go here. That's his one check. When he plays it, I go here. And now he's out of checks, right? This is a little hair raising. Be careful about. That's how I got in trouble before I what do you call it? Pre-moved. Okay, let's see. If I take his knight, the rook can't check here. He has no good rook checks. He will get this thing with check though. And I have to try to survive this. Well, he's going to win the bishop regardless, isn't he? Okay, if I take the knight, he takes this with check. My king's got to try and walk out of this. That ain't going to be easy. Hopefully I haven't made a mistake here. Let me see, take. I go into that end game. Queen and 2 rooks versus, he'll mate me with the knight and the queen. I got to do this. And then I got to walk up the board and hope that I don't get mated. Here, he's going to have he doesn't have a queen check on the diagonal if I go here. And he doesn't have a rook check. That's going to give me a move. I'm going to go queen e5 next. And he still doesn't have a check. And he still doesn't. Okay, now I know what I'm going to do to him. I'm going to check him here. And then I'm going to check him here, and we're going to take the queens off the board. And we'll see if he can draw this in game. There you go. Done. I didn't get to do any chat at all. And it didn't count for the tournament. Because we're beyond 8:30. Oh well. At least I didn't lose. Did I lose any games? 1 win, 2 draws, another win. I didn't lose any games. I guess that's a good night. I finished 31. How the heck did that happen? Oh well, another night of chess. Remember, I'm right here streaming Monday nights, 7 o'clock Central Time to about 8:30. Great chess begins here, but it doesn't end here. All right, that's it for tonight. Bye.